Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you have joined from. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another SQL Maestros webinar. And as we always do, let's have a quick check. What's the global participation looking like today? So where are you from? Which country? We always do that. And it's always good to see all of you joining from across the globe. And I will call that out. So we have UK, India, Egypt, US again, India, US, UK, US, India. Okay. A lot of US, India, and UK. Okay. Germany, hi from there. Okay. We have few more folks from India again. All right. What else? Other countries, Germany again. Okay. Fuji Island. Okay. Great. That's not very common. So good. Kenya. That's also not very common. So Stephen, welcome. Then we have France. Okay. From California, which is US again. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Okay, so we have, I'm glad that most of our webinars are happening on time. I mean, lovely schedule each Thursday, and we have been keeping up with all the schedule. Kudos to our team who are able to pull this off each week. And glad that the community is really enjoying this well. We have got incredible feedback about the content. The best part is that the webinars are recorded and they are available on sqlmaestros.com. Okay, a few more folks, Philippines, NYC. Okay, that's New York City, I guess. Okay, and Israel. Yes, welcome. Welcome, everyone. Once again, welcome. Mauritius, hi there. So here are a few links that might be helpful to you, irrespective of what you're exploring: free content, video courses, master classes, membership, the links to recorded webinars, and some social links as well. And if you are looking for deep dive training for your team members, then you can drop an email to classes@sqlmaestros.com. Okay, so as I have already answered, the webinar is going to be recorded and it's going to be available on sqlmaestros.com. Questions should go into Q&A panel. Please don't put your questions in the chat window because our chat window is just for, free conversation. So I will not be able to track your technical questions. Put them in the Q&A panel. And I request that you please keep your questions relevant to today's topic, today's subject, today's content. Okay, so friends, let's begin. We are going to talk about top 5 DMVs. Now, it is very difficult to really kind of figure out or kind of, isolate top 5, top 10, or top 20 dynamic management views because there are just so many. If you have been working with SQL Server for some time now, you know that DMVs are something that you use day in, day out, especially if you are in administration profile, like, if you are monitoring, managing, troubleshooting, if you're in that database administration profile, you are so heavily dependent on DMVs. In the developer role, you may or may not be using too many DMVs, but maybe some DMVs related to query performance. So I I was trying to figure out that, okay, if I am doing this session, top 5 DMVs, this is part 1. And you may know that there is another part 2, which is happening next week, same time, Thursday. So do attend that also. So I was like, okay, so I have to cover 10 DMVs. How do I choose my DMVs? How do I spread them across different facets of SQL Server so that it is useful for majority? So what I've done for part 1 is I have picked up 5 DMVs and spread across different areas, different surface areas of SQL Server. Something to do with wait stats, something to do with TempDB, something to do with CPU, something to do with memory, something to do with IO. So this makes up 5 DMVs for today: wait stats, CPU, memory, IO, and TempDB. When you talk about CPU, memory, IO, and TempDB, these are the foursome, the holy 4 resources. So I'm so sure that this content is going to be very useful. The other thing is, it's so easy to talk about dynamic management views. I can just pick up some DMV or some ready script from Microsoft, SQL documentation and just kind of show it to you. But I wanted to make it very relevant and very, production ready so that you can just take the script and use it for your benefit. So I am also going to give you some demonstrations along with running the scripts, using the DMVs. I'm just going to make it real world. Okay, friends, so let's get started. I have restarted SQL Server just now, the instance here. I hope all of you can see the screen. And here, what I have tried to do is the purpose of restarting the SQL Server here was to reset all the DMV statistics. That was the idea, so that we can just kind of do things afresh. Okay, so top 5 DMVs, and I want to remind you that this content is some of the content pieces here are extract from our masterclass, SQL Server Performance Tuning Masterclass, which we do once in a year. That is internals, troubleshooting, and performance tuning. 40 hours of deep dive content. In fact, this year's class is happening in the month of November. Some of you might be aware of that. I don't know how many of you have registered, but we had like half a dozen registrations already. In case you are looking for deep dive class, online class, and you want the recordings of those class for a lifetime, then this is a very, very good pick. And because all of you are here online now, just want to update you that the prices of this class will increase after tomorrow, which is after September 20. So in case you have training budget, because most registrants are sponsored by their companies, and you're looking for such a deep dive class, 40 hours of content, very comprehensive coverage, then you may want to explore that. The link is there in the chat window. So some of the content pieces for today's session is from the masterclass. Let's get started. First one, we'll jump into weight statistics. I'll open up one weights_SQL. Which DMV are we focusing here on? We are talking about SysDMOS weight stats. And why have I included this in top 5? Simply because when you are dealing with SQL Server, specifically when you're troubleshooting performance issues, the general slowness of SQL Server, this DMV really sits on the top. Weight statistics are kind of gateway to troubleshoot performance tuning issues in SQL Server. When things are slow, most likely the workloads and the queries are waiting for resources. SQL Server tracks that. And if you're able to figure that out with the help of the DMV, you're one step closer to solving or to identify where the root bottleneck is. And that is why this DMV is super critical. There are a lot of weight classes, more than 1,000 different weight classes. So whenever you have this weighting happening in SQL Server with respect to a specific weight class, this gets recorded. Now, with all of these DMVs, if we simply write a vanilla statement, select star from the DMV name, it's just not going to be useful. I don't remember ever that, we have just written select star from the DMV. We got to join one DMV with the other, or basically do a lot of mathematics on that DMV, like aggregations, filtering, and whatnot. And basically, the DMV data is so overwhelming that you have to like pick and choose what you want and make the output more meaningful. If you simply do a select star from SysDMOS weight stats, you know it if you have done it, and I'm sure many of you have run that. It's not very helpful. Okay, I get a message in the chat window that screen is not visible. Are you not able to see the screen? Can you please confirm in the chat window if you can see the screen? Okay. Yes, all of you are able to see. So I just got one message in the chat window. Someone was not able to see. So if you are not able to see the screen, but you can hear me and watch me, I mean, I don't know, you're using multiple multiple screens, multiple monitors. Maybe you could just rejoin once again. I don't know how to troubleshoot screen not visible. Okay. Okay, try to figure out, please. To most of you, everything is all good. Okay, so let's continue. Now, if I execute this, you will see that this gives me my top 10 weights that are happening around the system. And many of these weights are, a couple of them here, if you see, are system weight types. Now, where is the slowness happening inside the engine? This is the kind of snapshot you get from SQL Server. In real world, what you would be doing is you would need to pick up some of these and you have to put them in weight type not in. This is where you filter out additional irrelevant weights. And this list keeps on growing. As you move from one SQL Server version to another, with each new release, Microsoft is going to add more weights and you got to filter them out. Now, because I've just restarted, I don't really have user weights happening. And so you could really not see any user weights right now. So now I'm going to simulate some weights. So let's just go and do that. So I'm just going to open up a query here and run this in loop just to kind of trigger some weights. And then we will go and check back on that DMV and you will probably see CX packet coming on top. Let's give this a try. Right now you can see CX packet is not there on top. Let's go and run. Now you can see CX packet coming in the 10th position, because now some workload is running, which is waiting on CX packet. That is to do with parallelism. So we are not getting into the internals of wait stats, wait types, resource wait time, signal wait time, and all of that. That's really the masterclass stuff. But now let's go and run this. Now you will see that, okay, we ran this for, okay, just 10. Okay, let's do this. Okay, if you want to, we should just probably not use this. I am going to comment this and I will just say while 1 equals to 1. Let's just go and run this in a loop. Okay, so that you could see the wait stat CX packet climbing up. Okay, now this is constantly running. Now, okay, now you will see CX packet has moved from 10th position to 9th position. Now, in real world, what happens is as you keep running workloads and your user workloads and queries are waiting on different wait stats, and even they are categorized like parallelism, locking, waiting for CPU cycles, waiting for resources like memory, then IO waits, they all get captured and it shows up there. So you could see now the numbers are climbing up. This is what you can see for CX packet. So right, the first thing here, okay, I have questions coming in. I do not see videos. Okay, please put your questions in the Q&A window. I will answer the questions after the content is done. So when you talk about the most important DMVs, top 5, top 10 DMVs, definitely the wait stats DMV will find its place in top 10 DMVs. Along with wait stats DMV, I want to show you one more, though, it's kind of related. So I also want to show you the waiting task DMV. Now, while wait stats DMV gives you historical data, waiting task DMV will give you real-time data. So if I go and execute this right now, you will see an empty result set because there is no workload that is waiting on CX packet wait type. But if you want to find this out real time, so let's go and run this once more. Let's do this and jump over here and execute this. Okay, and now you can see, so let's go and stop this. Now you will see on a real-time basis, you can see that one query shows up here in waiting task DMV. You might be wondering, okay, that was just one query. Why do you have 8 records for it? Because CX packet has to do with parallel execution. That one query actually consumed 8 threads. So SQL Server executed that query in parallel. We had 8 threads and all of them were waiting on CX packet. So wait stats DMV and waiting task DMV, very critical when you're doing performance tuning stuff with SQL Server. Okay, let's close this and let's move to the next one. In the next one, we are going to talk about query stats DMV, query statistics. Now, the DMV here that is of focus is dim exec query stats. When you are dealing with dynamic management views, you have probably observed the nomenclature here, like you have dim exec query stats. The SQL Server, the wait stats DMV had SQL OS. So that was about the SQL operating system. This one is about the execution engine. The DMVs are categorized that way. So you will come across many DMVs that have these prefixes. If you look at this script itself, query stats DMV is being joined with another DMV called SQL text and then query plan, and they're all in this exec category. So this is the categorization. Another thing that you will observe now here is when we are fetching data from this DMV query stats, we are cross-applying with two more DMVs. To be technically correct, these are not DMVs. These are dynamic management functions. So you can see SQL text and query plan, they accept one parameter each. What you want to do is now you want to you want to extract query statistics. Again, why is this DMV important and why does it find its place in top 5, top 10? Is because this is the only dynamic management view in SQL Server that will give you all sorts of execution statistics related to your query. CPU time, CPU cycles consumed, the duration, the reads, the writes, and all of that with respect to the query. And when you want to get more meaningful output, you're going to join this one with SQL text so that you can get the complete text of the query. And then you are cross-applying with query plan so that you can extract the execution plan of the query. This DMV is super helpful when you are specifically doing query tuning. When you have one or more queries that are not performing well, they're running slow, you want to dive deeper into their execution stats, you want to extract the execution plan from the plan cache, and then you want to start troubleshooting. So this DMV will come very, very handy. Now, let's go and execute this DMV. And let's look at the output. Now, one common pattern that you would have observed in the previous script and this one is, again, look at the amount of maths we have to do with each DMV here. Again, a vanilla select start from dim exec query stats is just not going to be helpful. If you look at the output here, there are a lot of columns available. First thing, it's overwhelming. I need to show that to you once. Okay, so that and I'll just server or have little less experience so that okay, what are we talking about? So let's do sysdm exec. Am I doing it right? Yeah, there you go. If you look at this dynamic management view, okay, so starting from SQL handle, I just keep scrolling on the right. Just look at the amount of data. This is overwhelming. So everything related to threads, memory, IO, CPU, with respect to each query that gets fired, each workload that has a SQL handle is part of this query. And now you can see 104 rows there. In real world, if you just simply do a select star on your production boxes, you'll get thousands of rows, many more. So this is not going to be helpful. So, and this is how it is with most DMVs. So you got to do something like this so that the output is meaningful. Now you will see average CPU, total CPU, duration, reads, etc., and execution count. Some of these attributes are important. Now, when you are troubleshooting query performance, you got to take your call as to which attribute is most critical to you. Why? Because at the end of the query here, you can see we are ordering by either read. So if IO is bothering you, you want to do this. If it is CPU, you are doing this. If it's just the execution time that you're worried about, it is this. So you may just kind of fine tune it based on what you want. What you will also observe is the query text and the query plan here. This is coming from the DMFs here, the SQL text DMF and the query plan. Now, mind you, if you run queries like this on production boxes, just got to be a bit careful because sometimes these queries take time to execute and they are resource intensive themselves. When you are kind of joining with query text and you're trying to shred the execution plan this way and extract execution plan from this huge amount of data, this might be resource intensive. So it's just a general advice that if it's not a firefighting situation, don't blindly go and run these scripts on production box during business hours. Maybe you can run them in, off peak or off business hours during your maintenance windows when there's less workload on the box. It's just more meaningful to do that. Okay, so this is about query stats. It's very easy to kind of run some workload and show you how the numbers change or how the query text changes. Like right now, you can see this query that I just ran, and it shows up here. This was kind of slightly CPU intensive because of the large data it was dealing with. And this was the query that I ran for the weight stats DMV. So you can see the execution plan and you can see the query itself. Let me copy this and put it in a new window. This was the one that I ran. And if I show you the execution plan, you will see parallel execution as well. So you can see there is parallel execution happening all the way there. Okay. So let's close this one. If you want to watch the remainder part of the webinar and all the remaining demos, you can subscribe to the webinar on SQLmaestros.com and get lifetime access to the recorded webinar. All you have to do is just go to SQLmaestros.com, click on the recorded webinar section and get access to all the webinar recordings. There are many of them. Some of these webinars are free and some of them are very nominally priced. So the ones that you're interested in, you can subscribe to them and get lifetime access. Now, because there are so many webinars, subscribing to each webinar might be a bit cumbersome. So we have another option, which is SQL Maestros membership. So the first link on SQL Maestros says join. If you click on that, it will bring you to SQL Maestros membership. Things are very simple. There are two membership levels. The first level is free, where you get access to all the free webinars and all our tutorials and demos, more than 200, 300 demos and tutorials. All you have to do is just become a free member. You're paying nothing and you get access to all of them. So you don't have to go and subscribe to each webinar individually. Just become a free member and then explore the free video lobby. So if you go to the video lobby here, there is something called as free content where you get access to all of that. But then all of us are interested in advanced content, isn't it? And that is where premium membership comes into play. So the webinars that are paid, and there are many advanced tutorials and demos. If you want access to all of them, you can become a premium member and pay a nominal price, which is annual membership. Once you do that, you can explore the premium video lobby. If you go to the premium video lobby from here, or just go to the video lobby and click on premium content, you can see all the paid webinars and all the advanced tutorials and demos and get access to all of them with your annual membership. Anyway, choice is yours. There's a lot of content on SQLmaestros.com, and you can also explore the YouTube membership level as well. So you have free content on YouTube channel, and you can also join and become a member of SQL Maestros on YouTube, where you can pay a monthly fee, get access to all the paid webinars and advanced content. So in summary, you can go to SQLmaestros.com and become a member, or you can become a member on YouTube also. Becoming a member on SQLmaestros.com turns out to be a little cost effective with the annual membership in comparison to YouTube monthly membership. But anyway, choice is yours, whichever platform you wish to use. Happy SQL.